The pills for $15 apiece.
That's my daughter.
Where is she working?
She's on the second floor. She's on the second floor.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
I'd like to call the Maumelle City Council meeting to order. I appreciate everybody coming out on a cold, icy night. Public Works crews, I think, did a great job today working on the streets and all that. There's still a few shady spots that didn't ever lose ice, but for the most part this afternoon, most of the roads are in pretty good shape. So appreciate them working all night and being here to help with the road situation. Councilmember Saunders is unable to be here tonight, and Councilmember Anderson is also unable to be here tonight. So we're down 2 council members. Next item we have on the agenda is the invocation and pledge of allegiance. I've asked Councilmember Vapurzian to lead us in that tonight.
Father in heaven, we love you. We thank you for this day. We thank you for the safety that you provided for us as we travel today. And we thank you for our city employees working so diligently to make sure that that happens. Pray that you'd be with those who aren't as fortunate as we may be. There are people out there tonight that aren't sure where they're going to spend the evening or where their next meal will come from. May we be ever so grateful for the blessings that you've allowed us to enjoy. We're all born with the same stuff. Nobody has a lead on anybody. And we've been very fortunate, very blessed, and we thank you. Bless those in our community who are sick. Bless our 2 missing councilmen. Strengthen them. May we make wise decisions this evening. And so we ask for your wisdom to be present in this room and that we would use it. Bless all that we say and do here this evening. Bless our military. Strengthen them. And I pray that you would bless their families that are separated. And thank you for all that you have given to us here in this great nation. In Jesus' name we pray it. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. We have no special guests or announcements tonight. Next item is the approval of the minutes from the January 2nd regular meeting. All the council members have a copy of those minutes in their packet. Are there any corrections or additions to those minutes?
Motion to approve.
Seconded.
I have a motion and a second to approve. Is there any discussion on that motion? If not, all those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, say no. Motion passes. Next item is public comment, and I have no public comment cards on items either on the agenda or not on the agenda tonight. Next item is a financial statement review. And we do that at the second meeting of each month, and this is the second meeting, and so Ms. Vega is here tonight to do the financials.
Okay, this slide reflects our balances funds.
Ms. Vega, I'm sorry, can you press the,
Okay, so, went back off.
Hello. Okay. This chart reflects our fund balances, and as you can see, we're in a very healthy state. This is the general fund major revenue sources, and our 2017 county millage tax is up 3% over last year. Our county sales tax are up 1% over last year. Our city sales tax is down 6% over last year. The street fund major resources, state turnback is up 6% over last year. State aid program is up 6% over last year. And the county millage tax is up 2% over last year. The sanitation revenue is down 1% over last year. It looks big just because of the scale. Okay, the general fund expenses We're, overall, we're up 6% over prior year. This slide shows the expenditures in a pie chart, and you can see that fire and police are more than 50% of our budget and expenditures. This slide shows how much we spent of our budget in 2017, and every department came in under budget. The street fund expenditures, under other operating, this variance, the green is very off compared to our budget, and that's because of the reimbursements that we received for the Michael Baker charges, and we have been reimbursed. That is not showing on this slide, but if you include the reimbursement, then we're only up 2% over prior year. That was a street slide. The sanitation, we're down 1% over prior year. Any questions? Thank you.
Hold on,
I've got some.
Councilmember Mosley has a
I
question.
hit my light, I should have said something. You were talking about on the street fund there, you were talking about some kind of a Michael Baker, or what was that?
It's the third entrance design fees,
Oh, okay.
and we get reimbursed 80% of those expenses from the state.
All right, so
They're recognized in under grant revenue, state grant revenue, but the reimbursements have not been. The budget hasn't been raised for those reimbursements, and that's why it looks
okay, so
off.
so that's why operating came in way over, expenses came in way over almost twice.
over the budget.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
all right.
But we have been reimbursed. We just received some more reimbursements last week when I was out of town.
All right, so all these figures are, I mean, we've got some year-end results here is what we're looking
Right.
at, but they're not final numbers.
No, they're not final. Thank you for bringing that up. These are unaudited 2017 numbers.
And like I'm looking at the general fund here, it looks like it looks like right now we will go into the whole $700,000 for the year as far as actual expenditures and actual revenue. Do you think that'll go up from there or down from there as we get into final numbers and things?
No, it's not going to change.
Not going to change much?
Not our cash position. This is the cash position.
Okay. All right, so that's kind of how that all shook out for the year then. Yeah, I noticed fire came in quite a bit less than budgeted. Well, I guess as a percentage, it's not that big, but 141,000. Is that? Do we attribute that to anything in particular? Is that from unfilled positions? Or
Well, we had one position that was a battalion chief that was deployed for almost all of the year.
Okay.
So that's one salary at one of our highest level salaries. So probably $70,000 of that, and then there'd be also any taxes and things. I think he's probably in the 70,000 range for the salary. And then there could be just other, we save some money on some expenses on equipment repair or something like that, or it could be utilities too.
And actually, there will be additional revenue to be recognized, to be accrued for the audit that we get. It's 2017 revenue, but it gets paid in January. And so we'll have to do those accruals.
Okay. I noticed the community service fee came in almost right at $750,000 for the year. That's just remarkable.
Mm-hmm. I noticed that too.
And okay, that's about all I've got. All right, thank you.
Okay. Are there any other questions for Ms. Vega? If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve the financials. We have motion second to approve the financials. All those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, say no. Motion passes. Next item is I need a procedural motion from the floor to read all resolutions and ordinances by title only tonight.
Offered?
Sir?
Yes, so offered.
Oh, so offered. Okay. I didn't understand what you said. I'm sorry. Have a motion and a second to read all
I don't
resolutions.
think anybody else did either. That's okay.
We have a motion to read all resolutions and ordinances by title only tonight. Is there any discussion on that motion? If not, all those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, say no. Motion passes. We have no unfinished business. We have several items under new business. The first item is the first reading of ordinance number 948 to revise a portion of the city code, section 2-64. Mr. City Attorney, do you want to tell us what you did here?
It should be pretty self-evident. The gist of what I took away from the conversation at the last meeting was that we wanted to move department reports forward and up the list, as well as sort of update the order of business to more accurately reflect what we do currently at the city council. So essentially, if you look from 1 to 10 in the ordinance, it'll roughly match up with the order that we have on the council agenda currently, with the addition of department reports added in the ordinance.
Okay. Yeah, that was,
Go ahead, Councilmember Mosley. You're the sponsor on this. so-
yeah, that was, you pretty much said all that we had, Alderman, or City Council Member Vapursan wasn't here last time, but we had a discussion about our city code not quite matching what we were doing, and we kind of rearranged things and all agreed that this would be the order that pretty much matched how we're doing. So we're basically getting them in line. And I think we're going to start having department head reports, maybe 2 or 3 department heads per meeting, unless it's just an ungodly meeting or something like that. So, and we're going to do it at the first of the meeting so the department heads can go home if they want to afterwards. So anyway, that's all I've got to say. And I guess this is first reading. So
It is first reading, yes, sir. Councilmember Vapursan?
I wondered did you discuss this?
We did discuss it at the last meeting.
Why not? No, with the department heads, what were their?
I did discuss it with the department heads at our last staff meeting. I mean, there's a mixed,
Well, I mean,
review,
I
but-
didn't, I watched the meeting, I read the
Yeah,
minutes,
yeah.
so I get the gist of it. They work for you, they don't really work for us. So I didn't, I understand, why, but they
right.
may have nothing to say.
Well, and that's, hopefully, I mean, and it doesn't say it has to be given in person either. It says department reports, so they don't necessarily have to be done in person.
Okay.
But the goal would be, I guess, especially if we have a new department head or something like that, it gives them a chance to meet the council, and before they come and present a proposal for something, it
Okay.
gives them a chance to meet the council, because if they do have a budget issue, they will need to present it to the council, where like Mr. Neri presents a lot of the planning documents to the council, so you see him on a regular basis, but you may not see every department head.
Okay.
And so basically, I'm asking for volunteers, and my goal is to only do it at the first meeting, because we're already doing the financials at the second meeting typically. And then I don't know, based on this agenda, I may or may not had someone if this had been at the first one, just because we had a lot of items on the we had 5 items under new business. So if they'd all been controversial or something like that, we might have done something different. Yeah. But, yeah. And not had department heads
Right.
on that for that meeting. So, yeah. Councilmember Mosley?
a lot of it was to kind of keep us abreast of what's going on at the department level, so that, at the end of the year when we have these budget meetings, it seems like we kind of get overwhelmed by all the things that are going on and what, each department's trying to do and so on. Just kind of
Are you talking about financially or budget-wise? or-
what they're doing, things like that. Like the other day, I found out, like Animal Control's got some new outdoor cat house building that they've made, and they're all real proud of it, and everybody's excited about it, but we didn't know about it. It'd be nice to kind of hear about it, just anything.
Well,
Yeah.
and it's
Great example.
it's an
That's a great
outside,
example. I appreciate that.
it's an outside cat facility that allows the cats to go outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's just,
I still don't think you know about it,
I still don't think I really know about it. I need to go by and
but
look
you're
at it.
excited that there's a cat house, and I'm glad.
Everybody that told me about it was very excited.
Oh, good, good.
We built that in with staff personnel with just minimal dollars.
Because they did it for almost nothing. And
Yeah,
apparently
yeah.
they're very proud of it. So,
Right.
So anyway, but just things like that. So that's all I got. Thank
All
you.
right.
Like a zoo exhibit.
We didn't do the reading, did we? All right. We need to read ordinance number 948.
Be it enacted by the City Council of the City of Maumelle, County of Pulaski, State of Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled Ordinance Number 948, an ordinance amending Chapter 2 of the Maumelle City Code.
There's no other discussion on ordinance number 948. We'll move on to the next item. Next item is resolution number 2018-01, approving a conditional use permit. Madam City Clerk, if you'd read that by title only.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of Maumelle, Pulaski County, Arkansas, resolution number 2018-01, a resolution to grant a conditional use permit to the Abundant Love Church to locate in a C2 zoning district.
Motion to approve resolution 2018-01.
We have a motion and a second to approve resolution 2018-01. Is there any discussion on that motion? Councilmember Holt?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is only an observation, no discussion necessary. I noticed the application was made on November the 17th, 2017. It came before the City Planning Commission on December the 28th, 2017, and we are here in January the 16th, 2018. A couple of months behind, and they are occupying the building, as best I can tell. So it's just cart sort of behind the horse here, but that's all. It was just an observation, Mr. Mayor.
Well, and one of the reasons they're occupying the building is because it's a leased space, and so when the person leased it to a church, they didn't notify them that they needed a conditional use permit.
Right,
Yeah, yeah.
No big deal.
Yeah, and we've been working with them. They've been working through the process, and that's what we typically do is if we find out there's a violation with something, then we go through the process to get them to where they are following our rules and regulations. So.
Right, right.
All right. Mr. Neri, did you have something to add or? Okay.
Jim Neri, Director of Planning and Zoning. Just a little something further on that, Councilmember Holt. Actually, the Abundant Love Ministry has been operating at Riverstone Plaza since around August
Right.
of 2017. And as the mayor said, on the lease space, unless you come to City Hall for some type of permit for renovation or to get a banner or a sign, you as the applicant are not going to know that you need a conditional use permit unless your landlord lets you know. As a matter of fact, the mayor and I have spoken recently about perhaps, if you will, taking our show on the road and trying to educate some of these business owners that no matter how benign you think some business or entity may be that locates in your lease space, that you at least call City Hall to see if there's anything that you need to do in an effort to try to catch some of this. Lieutenant Colonel Ed Terry, who's the minister of this church, could not be here this evening. He does have a representative in the office, 29-year veteran of the U.S. Army, who commuted from Leavenworth, Kansas to Maumelle once a weekend to hold church services. He's a resident of Maumelle and about to retire, and a fine gentleman. When myself and Deputy Fire Marshal Bullard and Fire Marshal Payne and Director Morley made an inspection, once we learned that they were in this space, there were several things that they had to do in relation to fire code to their benefit Colonel Terry had all of that done before the planning commission convened to hear their request for conditional use permit. I think that is accurate.
We do a lot of land use approval, so it's just a routine thing that not everybody is delayed, sort of delayed like this one was. But.
No, but it does happen more often than you would think. Usually, when someone comes to permitting, someone in Director Morley's department, they've been trained enough now to flag them to our department. Sometimes it happens like this. We have a case right now ongoing, much like the Abundant Love Ministry. So we thought perhaps maybe if we could be a little proactive and educate some of these business owners ourselves. We're not going to catch every one of them, but maybe we can cut down on things like this happening.
Right.
Mr. Neri, will you turn that microphone on again on the back side of it, down low? Yeah, no, it's, yeah.
How's that?
I can't see the, yeah, okay, it's on. Yeah, it's good.
Okay. Could you hear me anyway?
Absolutely.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Neri.
There was no planning commission meeting in November also, so.
We had a motion.
Then we have a motion and second to approve Resolution 2018-01. Is there any additional comments or discussion? If not, all those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
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 Any opposed, say no. Motion passes. Next item is Resolution number 2018-02, approving Metro Little Rock Alliance contract. Madam City Clerk, if you'd read that by title only.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of Maumelle, County of Pulaski, State of Arkansas, a resolution to be entitled Resolution number 2018-02, approving the Economic Development Service Contract between the City of Maumelle and Metro Little Rock Alliance.
Okay, late last year, we brought a similar resolution before you to approve our contract for 2017, and this is bringing the contract back for 2018 to continue our contract between the City of Maumelle and Metro Little Rock Alliance. Ms. Keller is in the audience to speak on this, but also we have Mr. Jay Chesser with us tonight. He's with the Little Rock Chamber and represents Metro Little Rock Alliance. He wears a lot of hats, but Paul Latour is actually takes care of Metro Little Rock Alliance, but as I understand, he's under the weather also. And so Mr. Chesser is here tonight to address the council, if you would so choose. Mr. Chesser?
Thank you, Mayor and members of the council. It's an honor to be with you tonight. I apologize for the casualness, but it was a bit snowy and icy this morning when I left the house and was hopeful that it would be dry by now, and it is, thankfully, so maybe we'll all get home safe. Want to stand before you this evening and talk just very briefly about this contract. This is a contract where you enter into with a number of other cities and counties in the region for economic development marketing services. The total budget is approximately $300,000 to give you a scope of what that budget is. And that budget is used to market this area to not only outside companies obviously looking for the potential for a new location in this area, in this region, but we also use it for workforce training, and we're also looking at new product development from the perspective of the number of sites and buildings and places that we can actually recruit folks to. You're about to receive the fourth quarter report. I'm not going to go through all these numbers with you, but just to kind of give you a quick recap. For 2017, we had 57 total prospects, which equaled 25 actual visits to the area. Of those 25 visits, we completed 11 projects. That also included 67 business retention and expansion visits. So whether it's the mayor, whether it's Judy, or whether it's working with Alicia, we're not only working to recruit new companies to the area, but we're also working with our existing businesses because they are the ones that actually create the most jobs that we have in any given community. About 60% of any new jobs in any given year come from our existing industry expansion. So we never want to forget them. In fact, we want to focus on them. It's the new stuff that gets a lot of the media attention. But if it wasn't for the mayor and Judy and Alicia, Mr. Fisher and others that are engaged in this process, we certainly wouldn't have had the success that we've had, and certainly look forward to hopefully even more success in the future. So Mayor, be happy to answer any questions.
Okay. there any questions for Mr. Chesser? Doesn't look like. Thank you very much, and I'm also casual too. So and that's it was remarked earlier they never seen me in a pair of jeans before. So yeah, but that's icy weather kind of leads toward jeans, I think. So
Motion to approve Resolution 2018-02.
Second.
we have a motion and a second to approve resolution number 2018-02. Is there a discussion on that motion? If not, all those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, say no. Motion passes. Next item is Resolution 2018-03, approving an economic development service contract. Madam City Clerk, if you'd read that by title only.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of Maumelle, County of Pulaski, State of Arkansas, a resolution to be entitled Resolution Number 2018-03, approving an economic development service contract between the City of Maumelle and the Maumelle Area Chamber of Commerce.
So this is a very similar contract that we just talked about with Metro Little Rock Alliance, and Ms. Gillen, Alicia Gillen, is in the audience tonight, and so and Ms. Keller could speak to it if we need to also. But Alicia, if you want to brief them a little bit on what the chamber does.
Few things. Sorry, I didn't hand these out before. They're still on my phone. Well, good evening. Happy snow day. This is a very exciting contract for the Chamber of Commerce because this is a contract that we have not had for many years. It was due to state laws that were changing, and so we're very happy to be able to enter back into this partnership. The interesting thing, though, is that we have never stopped our services for the City of Maumelle. We continue to promote, engage, and as you can see, bring events for our community. So this is just going to be an extension of what we're already currently doing. We have a lot of things and projects lined up for 2018 to be a part of the City of Maumelle, to not only bring businesses to the area and recruitment, but also to support our community with community development. Do you have any questions for me?
Councilmember Mosley.
Mr. Mosley.
Where do you get most of your funding? Is it from membership dues,
We are membership dues and also sponsorships of our events.
sponsorship of your events? Okay. Do you get any state government
No.
money, any
No.
federal funds, grants,
No.
anything like that? Okay. So
No.
it's basically from your members. And how many members do we have?
Almost 400.
400. And
Yes.
these are all businesses that have businesses in Maumelle or the surrounding
We
area?
are the Maumelle Area Chamber of Commerce. I'm sure if we were defined by our borders, it would be a little bit more difficult. But no, we go out and we look at businesses that would be a good enticement or a good opportunity for our residents in the area. I make jokes that our farthest chamber is actually in Oklahoma, and it is Cherokee Casino.
Oh, my goodness.
We have a lot of people who love to go to the casino, and they like to support us.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be a business to be a member. An individual can be.
We do have individuals, yes, churches, schools, absolutely.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ms.
Thank you,
Gillen.
sir.
And I should have mentioned, Ms. Gillen's also our representative on the Pulaski County Special School District, and I noticed that she was posting things this morning reminding people, the students, that if they would do their online work, they wouldn't be counted absent today from school. So I thought that was very interesting that she was encouraging them, all right, if you do this, you get counted as going to school today. So.
We're very excited, but I did want to say I just received an email. PCSSD will be closed tomorrow. There are sheets of ice on a lot of the sub-streets, and so traffic has made that decision, and we've just announced that. So, yay, more homework.
All right. We did read this.
Motion to approve Resolution 2018-03.
Motion to approve Resolution 2018-03. Do I hear a second? Second. I have a second. Is there any more discussion or questions on Resolution number 2018-03? If not, all those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, say no. Motion passes. Next item is Resolution number 2018-04, a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute an interlocal agreement. Madam City Clerk, if you'd read that by title only, please.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of Maumelle, County of Pulaski, State of Arkansas, a resolution to be entitled Resolution Number 2018-04, a resolution authorizing the mayor of the city of Maumelle to execute an interlocal agreement between the city of Maumelle, the city of Little Rock, the city of North Little Rock, the city of Sherwood, the city of Jacksonville, the county of Pulaski, the county of Saline, the county of Faulkner, the county of Garland, the county of Grant, the county of Lone Oak, the county of Perry, and the county of Jefferson.
Okay, this is a unit that the governor actually put money into to open up 3 of these crisis stabilization units across the state. They actually were trying to do 4 of them, and one of them's actually backed out of it now. But there's going to be one in Jonesboro, one in Fort Smith, and one in Little Rock. And basically what they're trying to do is take people to this crisis stabilization unit instead of taking them to jail. It's a person that hasn't really committed a crime, but they're putting them there to protect them from themselves, or maybe they've got a substance abuse issue or something like that, but they haven't created a crime and they're not under the influence currently at that time of that substance. And so they're trying to use this way to offer mental health and everything to keep them out of jail, because really they don't deserve to go to jail, but it's the only place right now that our police officers have to take someone like this. Or they've got to be committed to a medical facility, and they have to do it voluntarily, that yes, I want to go. The cost to the city would be $50 per day that person that we take to that facility is there. I can't tell you how much we're going to spend on that, but I don't think that we would have a lot of people that we would take there. And they're only going to keep them for 3 to 4 days to do an evaluation, and then if they need further treatment, they'd get them in treatment or some kind of out of hospital treatment program that they would get them into. But it will be housed at a county facility that's adjacent to the juvenile detention area that the county currently has off of Roosevelt Road. It's where it's at. And the county's bearing the cost of all of the construction and providing that part of it. And then UMS is providing the doctors and nurses that would be with these patients and evaluate them and work with them on a regular basis. But the governor's committed $1.6 million to it. The county's committed another $1 million. And then this is a way that we have a mechanism to take someone there, and we can take someone there and decide we don't want to use it anymore, and we don't have to continue taking people there, but it gives us another option in order to allow our police officers a little bit of flexibility to take them there. Councilmember Kelly?
Thank you, Mayor. What part of the budget would this fall under as far as an expense?
We really don't know. I mean, it'd probably come out of the police's budget since they're the one doing it. And so, I think there's like $1,000 or $2,000 that we could probably find in some line items there that it could pay for it. And so that would be what we'd choose to do this first year and just see. And if we start using it, we may have to come back to the council and say, this is really working out good, and we need to take some more people there, or we need this, and we need an additional $5,000 or something like that in order to fund this program. What I was hoping would happen was that since it supposedly saves the jail money, and the jail says it costs 2 to 3 more times to house somebody in jail than it does here, that they would reduce our fee we pay to the jail. Well, that hadn't happened yet, but that's something we're going to renegotiate the jail contract this year also. So we'll probably be looking at that and say, if you're saving money on the jail by us taking these patients there, and I want to call them patients, not prisoners, because they're not prisoners, take them there instead of taking them to jail, it may save everybody money in the long run. Councilmember Vapurzian?
I just want to ask Chief, if
Okay.
I could, real quick. What are your thoughts on this, and how does this benefit your department?
And again, I apologize, like that the gentleman said, for my attire. When I went to work this morning, I thought I might actually do some work today. It didn't work out. But one of the things that we face, not here on a regular basis, but we do face it, is people call because we have emotionally disturbed people. We have people that are out of sorts. Maybe through substance abuse or just because of previously existing conditions, and they don't know what to do with them. And they oftentimes are loud, they're boisterous, and it's not a situation where you can just walk away from them and say, well, he's just loud and boisterous. So instead of trying to find a way to put this person in jail on some kind of charge or a way to make him go to an involuntary commitment, this offers us a tool where we can just say, hey, look, brother, you come here, get some help, and off we go. It gives us a resolution to a problem that doesn't require us to find a disorderly conduct charge or something like that, and it doesn't require him to do this as opposed to going to the county jail. It gives us an opportunity to say, here is an opportunity for you to go get evaluated, for you to start getting on the road to some help. And like the mayor said, there's a maximum of 3 days that we will have to pay the $50 per person per event. So if we take them and they keep them 3 days, then and during that 3 days they evaluate them and try to find a treatment plan for them in places where they can go. Oftentimes we find that it is simply getting them back on their medicine regimen that they should be on in the first place, and that helps. But it's a place they can go where we're not using the county jail, as Sheriff Holliday often complains about, as a mental health facility. And he is right. We unfortunately do that.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
Councilmember Williams.
I am, for one, and very much in favor of this. It sounds really good to me. I like the fact that, but you did say that it is voluntary, right? They're not going to be forced to go to this facility.
No, they will not be forced to go to it unless they're already under an order of involuntary commitment, as I understand it in reading the memorandum of understanding. So
I think it's long overdue.
Yeah. And also, it's not even operational yet. So, I mean, they hope to start accepting people sometime in March. So, but that it's still got to meet all the approvals and get certified and everything else. You got more on that?
I just wanted to piggyback on what you said. They have a site, and they have a plan to staff it and get it open and get it paid for, and for us to start using it. So they do have a plan.
If they don't want to go there, then they otherwise may well go to jail.
We're stuck in the same situation I was describing now. If they are threatening to hurt themselves or others in a serious manner, then that's another situation that we have to address sometimes, and that might get into an involuntary evaluation or a voluntary evaluation. If they are being incredibly disorderly or involved in harassment type activity in our community, then yes, sir, the option would be to go to jail. We're not just going to leave them there and let them yell and disrupt and need help. Yes, sir.
And they're not going to want people at this facility that are need to be in handcuffs or need to be restrained or something like that. They want these people to be there voluntarily, and they'll have a security guard, but they won't have police officers there or jailers to help deal with people. So
we have somebody at our department. In this particular case, it's Captain Jim Hansard, that is trained in the criteria for admission to this. So the way we're going to do it is if any police officer encounters, and again, let me stress that it won't happen often. It doesn't happen often now. But if we have a situation where this might be an option, then the officer will call Captain Hansard in, who will do the evaluation and say, yeah, this guy is eligible for this type of treatment or this type of place to go. So yes, sir, there are still options on the table, but this is just maybe another tool in our belt, is what I'm trying to say.
So they're there for a couple of 3 days. They may not well have resolved their issue. So are you going to be faced with having to make the decision as to where we're going to go next?
In all likelihood, most of them will not have their issues resolved in 3 days. And one of the purposes for this is to determine a treatment plan. Now, they may have a situation where they can be released in 3 days. Again, they're back on their medicine. They have received their medicine. Again, we see oftentimes people that have serious medical conditions don't have their medicine. Right. And for some reason can't afford it, won't afford it, or whatever, and won't take it. Well, If you get them in a setting where they need to take their medicine, where they're very, very strongly encouraged to take their medicine, well, then you get them back in that situation where they understand the need for it and understand taking it as prescribed. So, yes, sir, there will be times when in 3 days isn't enough. And it will be up to them at that point to find an appropriate treatment plan. It will not be up to us. They won't call and say, hey, that didn't work, go do something else with him. No, sir, they won't do that. They will find something. Now, one of the things in the agreement that I don't love, when they call and say that we're through with him, you've got an hour if you live in Pulaski, 2 hours.
Modified it to 2.
Okay, they modified it to 2 to come pick him up. I like that a little bit better. Well, you call and say you got an hour. And one of the things, I'm trying not to be a smart aleck, we've got 2 hours to pick him up. I'm going, well, what if we don't? Just let him out your door, you know. So, you know, you go get, so what? If we don't, then he's back out where he was in the first place. So.
And that became a big discussion between the mayors about how long we had to pick somebody up. And the reason they put a time limit on there is because that opens up a bed for another patient. It's 16 beds for all of these counties that you heard named out there. So this is a drop in the bucket. This is not going to
have to increase.
Yeah,
frankly, this is going to identify a need, and then that will be addressed on a larger scale later. Once they recognize the scope of the problem, this will not be the last you hear of the 16. It will be increased. The program will be dropped.
And it's a pilot program. So this is kind of the infancy of it. So hopefully it'll grow, and maybe they put one in every county then. And then, therefore, Pulaski County has 16 beds. But every city, every county that's listed there will be able to take their people there. And like I say, it's in Little Rock, Fort Smith, and Jonesboro. So even if only 7 or 8 counties in every one of those areas, we're still only 20-something counties. So we're still going to be short 50 counties that don't have any means of taking people to these facilities. So it's a trial and error, see if it works. If it works, hopefully it can be expanded either into more counties or open more beds where we need them. And that was the thing. It's probably going to be like the jail. It's going to be full a lot. We may run into a situation where we got someone that needs to go there, but it's already full. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
I can certainly see situations where they're having to evaluate it. You're full, and this guy really needs there. Is there somebody there that you can release early? That kind of thing. It's the same situation we face, like the mayor said, with the county jail. Oftentimes, we have to prioritize.
Maybe far more need for it than we think.
I suspect that they will find
there's
that
definitely
out.
a need for it. Yeah, they've got, Pulaski County did some study, and 400 people that they took in last year could have went to this facility easily. So,
Fact of the matter is, if Little Rock wanted to fill this thing up on the first day with 16 people, they could.
Yeah.
Councilmember Mosley?
Yeah, this sure sounds like something to try. As you were describing everything there, I could think of things and situations I've known of through the years where that would have been the appropriate thing to do instead of taking somebody that really didn't need to be in jail and putting them in jail. And that sounds like a great idea. So I'm very interested to see how that plays out this coming year's experiment. So thank you.
And it'll be reevaluated at the end of this year, and so things may change. The fee may go down, the fee may go up, and all that too. So that's what you can read all the documents, and that's what it says. Councilmember Williams?
I just have 2 questions. Is it only law enforcement that can make referrals to this facility?
Yes, ma'am.
And the interlocal agreement funds that we already have for the jail, the interlocal agreement, that is a line item on your budget, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we probably would be, after they evaluate it, in a position where we can negotiate something new with this interlocal agreement. I wonder if all cities are thinking about the same way. I would imagine that this is a smart thing to do, to reevaluate the interlocal agreement with the county jail.
And we had a intergovernmental council meeting, which is composed of the mayors within Pulaski County and the judge. And that's what we all discussed. We knew this jail, basically we had a 3-year contract for our fee on the jail. And so that came up while we were discussing all this as well. When we renegotiate the jail contract, and the judge is saying, well, it needs to go up, and we're all going, it needs to go down. So, but So, yeah, I think it will be discussed aggressively by the mayors anyway.
Sounds
So,
good.
yeah. And there's, in the criteria, it has to be the person, the law enforcement has to be the person that Chief Williams just described as being Jim Hansard, because they have to be trained in order to recognize this person. And I forget the exact title they use, but like a crisis intervention officer, I believe is what it's called, something to that effect. And so that person has to make the determination, yes, this would be good for him. And so we already have that personnel on our department. So
Motion to approve Resolution 2018-04.
Second.
we have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2018-04. Is there any more discussion on that item?
Did y'all notice that Sam called me ma'am again? Did anybody notice that?
Sir.
I think
No,
it's,
I think it's good. I like
I think it's respect. So
Here.
if there's no other discussion, all those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, say no. Motion passes. Moving on to mayor's comments, just a reminder, we have a town hall meeting this Thursday, the 18th of January at 6 p.m. at the First Baptist Church. And then the other item I wanted everybody to be aware of, in your packet, we included the special election information for the sales tax that's coming up. The election is May the 13th. Polls will be open from 7:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. on Tuesday, March the 13th. You will have 3 locations in Maumelle to vote. The Jess Odom Community Center, the First United Methodist Church, and St. Nicholas Episcopal Church. Now, that is 8 precincts that vote at those locations. So, but that's the locations that you'll be able to vote. You also will be able to vote early at Pulaski County Regional Building, which is 501 West Markham, which is across from Little Rock City Hall. And you'll be able to early vote there from Tuesday, March the 6th through Monday, March the 12th on weekdays. So you won't be able to vote Saturday and Sunday there, but you will be able to vote on Monday, March the 12th there from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. You will also be able to vote early at the Jess Odom Community Center Tuesday, March the 6th through Friday, March the 9th from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. on those 4 days. So they're making it easy for Maumelle residents to vote. The other thing that I had on the agenda here was the Arkansas Municipal League Conference recap. I put copies at your desk of the Trendsetter Cities magazine that was put out by Arkansas Business Publishing Group, and on page 8 and page 24, we won 2 different awards, honorable mention. We didn't win anything, but we did get honorable mention. And so page 8 talks about the Citizens Police Academy. And so they got a honorable mention for the category of public safety for population between 5,000 and 20,000. We're going to let the chief take this back and hang it up at the police station. And then on page 24, we got honorable mention for our Senior Wellness Center. And we got it in the category of tourism. That was a little strange to me. But for population between 5,000 and 20,000, they had a wellness section too that they gave awards in. So I would have thought it would have qualified for the wellness area, but it qualified and was given an honorable mention in tourism. So that's why I passed those magazines out. Those are yours to take. If you don't want them, you can leave them here and we'll pick them up. But this plaque will also be displayed at the Maumelle Center on the Lake. So we'll give that to Nicole to place in their facility. And so everybody can see that we've run some awards for our facilities and for the Citizens Police Academy that the chief and them do a great job with every year. I'd added one other thing, and it was basically just the snow clearing efforts that our Public Works did. I kind of mentioned it earlier, but they started coming in at 10 o'clock last night in order to make sure that the roads were as in good a shape as we could get them. There's a fine line. You can only start at a certain point. You got to let some of it build up, but also the plows don't work unless there's like an inch of snow. So they could push snow around, but it really wouldn't go anywhere. So we did a lot of salting and sanding throughout the night. And so we had 14 people that came in at 10 o'clock last night and worked throughout the night then all day today, and then we sent them home at 4 p.m. today. We're keeping one of them on standby. That doesn't mean he's staying here, but he's close enough that he can get in if we have any slick spots that the police notify us about. And dispatch has his number, and so they can get a hold of him, and he'll come in and get a sand truck and take it out and deal with the area. So just they do a great job, and they were some pretty tired guys this afternoon since they hadn't even been to bed yet. So a lot of them, they'd worked straight through. But we were blessed. We only got the little bit of snow that we got. I know set down south, they got up to 6 inches. Camden had 6 inches, I believe. Fordyce 3.5, and some things like that. But so there were some areas that got hit pretty hard with the snow. And then, as Ms. Gillen just told you, Pulaski County is going to be closed again tomorrow because basically they don't probably want to put their buses out on some roads that haven't been cleared yet, as good as our roads are. And there's a lot of Bryan and Benton I know are still out again tomorrow, and then a lot of schools down in South, and then a few already announced they're opening late. So, but our Public Works guys did a great job. Don't know what the cost is on that. Y'all may be hearing from me for a budget amendment for overtime budget, but we'll get that all put together, and if it's necessary, we will bring it forward. Councilmember Mosley?
I just wanted to say again, I was telling you before the meeting that I've been on the city council for 5 years, and I don't think I've ever really had anybody complain about the streets in Maumelle after ice and snow. Our guys seem to be able to do a good job, and I just never hear any complaints about it. I hear a lot of complaints, but I don't hear about that.
I will tell you, my wife complained this morning because a citizen called her at 7 a.m. to talk to me and said that our guys had done a great job with the road. She'd already made it to work, and I was already out and gone, so my wife was still in bed, so she didn't appreciate it very much. So I got the complaint from her that a citizen was giving us a kudo and, yeah, did a good job, and so I got complained on. Next item is the Planning Commission report, and that will be done after the next meeting. Council member comments? Councilmember Vapurzian?
I want to say farewell to Councilmember Kelly. Appreciate his friendship and leadership here, and he's taught me many things about the city council. And appreciate it very much. He will be missed, and appreciate the open door to visit him in Florida at any time. So,
Thank you.
Were you the only one who got an invitation?
well, he didn't give one. I just thought.
Oh, okay.
Just figured I'd throw that out there.
In other words, he's crashing on him or
That's right.
trying to. Councilmember Mosley?
I had a couple here. I'd looked through the what the agenda was at the Arkansas Municipal League Conference that I guess 3 or 4 aldermen made it to, and there was a section on annexation and legislative audit that I would have loved to have come to, and I don't know if you had any materials you brought back, but I would certainly love to see them if you brought any back.
They were.
Shannon went.
They went to. It was just a question and answer.
I went to the legislative audit.
And there was no material, right?
No material?
No presentation, just questions.
Okay, I may holler at you and see if I can get a summary of what you may have heard. But
Yeah, and the gentleman did speak Friday morning on legislative audit, and basically he just gave, here's what cities do wrong, basically kind of deal. You know, here's what the items that we see issues with and things like that. He gave there was a panel of him and a bunch of state legislators, isn't that when he was up there? So there was like 8 of them up there that spoke for about an hour and a half. So none of them got a lot of time, but they talked to, in fact, our representative, Doug House, was there speaking on the medical marijuana issue. So, but yeah, there's some very good topics that were covered. Now, there is an annexation book that I'm not sure, I don't know exactly what was mentioned. Oh, that was after that was at the same time as the legislative audit was done.
Anybody go to the annexation thing?
No, because I had to be at a municipal health benefit meeting that went on at exactly the same time as that one too. I was standing, waiting to go into that meeting because there's HIPAA laws in that. So I was standing waiting for that meeting because I couldn't stay in there for the whole meeting. And I was overhearing the annexation, but Jim Von Tuglin was teaching that class. So yeah. But there's a book that the league has about annexation.
Okay, I'll call him and see if I can
Okay.
get something.
Well, and then I may have the book back in my office too. I'll look for it and see. But we can get you a copy of that book.
Was it on that table? I
Yeah,
think we probably
yeah.
all picked up one.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And then I had just one other thing here. I just wanted to clarify. I had a couple of constituents or somebody asked me about the public safety tax that we're going to be, that we've passed and is going to be on the ballot. Now, the funds, if it does pass, the funds from that would be, it would just be general fund revenue. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And it would, there's some interesting wording here in the ballot. It talks about it being public safety facilities, including but not limited to. So that means it could almost be spent on anything. Would that be?
Yes.
Am I reading it correctly?
Yes,
So,
yeah.
so really, this is just a general. When you really get down to it, it's just a general half-cent sales tax that can be used for anything.
But part of the reason it was called a public safety tax is because the community service fee goes away. And even the community service fee, we called it a public safety tax, said it went toward public safety, but it also went for some of the same things, lighting and things like that weren't always the police department and the fire department.
Right.
So,
I'd had somebody call and say, "Well, this mean does this mean that everybody in police and fire will receive raises and all this money will go to police and fire?" And I said, "No, I think it's just general fund revenue." So, just trying to make sure there was no misunderstanding and I wasn't telling people wrong.
right. No, and that's exactly right. I mean, it's not so that the public safety departments can get additional revenue, because you'd be taking $750,000 away that you referenced our budget from last year. You'd take that away. Well, if we didn't have a way to replace that, then they would be taking cuts instead of,
Well, they
raises.
I mean,
So,
the city council determines what everybody gets. It would just be
yeah,
less general fund money to have.
yeah, yeah.
So,
Yeah,
all right.
that's true, yeah.
All right, thank you very much. Just wanted.
Could I follow up with that? I just want to point out that the funds could only be used for those things that's on the ballot. Now, when you say, so it has to be used for public safety, but it's a kind of broad category. So the city couldn't use that money on something that wasn't public safety related. Does that make sense?
Okay, so you're saying, okay.
But it's a very broad, I mean, it mentions in the including but not limited to lighting, roads, walkways,
Trails
streets.
repairs, street lighting.
Public safety is,
So hypothetically,
Keeps us safe.
let's say that tax raised $1 billion a day, right? Because Maumelle grows super big in the Sim City example.
Right.
That money would literally have to be earmarked for public safety, even if it seemed like we didn't need to spend it on that. You can't spend it on things outside of that. So the 1 cent sales tax that we have that's already in place and it's not up for election is what's called a general revenue tax, and that just goes into the general revenue and in the general fund. The half-cent public safety tax is called a special revenue tax, meaning that the funds can only be allowed for that which it's authorized for.
Okay.
But it is a broad category.
So going to the general fund, but it'll be a little bit like the community service fee is in that if we were spending less than that amount of money on police and fire and public safety, then you couldn't spend it on anything.
Correct. But as it is, that would be gobbled up by either police or fire on their
Because
own.
there's $6
still.
million in the budget
Yeah.
for police and fire, and this will only raise a little over $1 million. So,
Right. So, yeah, it'd have to bring in over, and it also mentions street lighting and things like that. We spend, I think it's $700,000 a year for street lighting in our, where's that? City services, I believe is where that is, or it's a large number that we spend on that. So you could actually go up to somewhere around $7 million of this sales tax before there's an issue of it's going to somewhere else.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying that, because I didn't understand that. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Yeah, but, street and trail repairs is listed, so, I mean, we do $300,000 worth of street repairs a year too, so, I mean, so there's, there's other ways, not other ways, there's other items that would justify it being used for that process.
Okay. Thanks again for clarifying that.
Any other council members' comments? Mr. City Attorney?
No, sir.
Madam City Clerk?
Just that I've only received one person that signed up for the Planning Commission liaison. I need someone for January 25th's meeting. And another reminder for those who haven't turned in your statement of financial interest. They are due at the end of the month.
We can take January 25th.
You'll take that.
Okay,
That's it, Mayor.
okay.
6 p.m.
6:30.
6:30.
Thank you.
I can't take him anywhere.
And if there's no other business to come before the council, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Okay, everybody drive carefully going home. There might still be some icy spots. Meeting is adjourned.